This is Rabbi Flo, and I am here with Chaim Simcha, who has one of the most fascinating stories about a career pivot or addition or change that I have heard in a very long time. So, Chaim Simcha, tell us a little bit about you.
Hi, my name is Chaim Simcha. Thank you, Ari. I appreciate the opportunity. Um, so, a little bit about me. Grew up in the States, came to Israel a bunch of years ago. Did real estate, tech, this, that, a lot of people. Um, Mainly, the focus was always about meeting people and trying to help people because that's what I do well. I connect people. I used to have on my LinkedIn, on my bio, I used to have, um, I talk to a lot of people and then I connect them. And I was at a conference when somebody like pulls up my LinkedIn and she's looking at it. And she's like, "Oh yeah, you talk to a lot of people." I'm like, "It's true. Like, this is what we're doing." Um, and now I paint abstract art um, like this. And the story how I got into that is interesting story. It's basically I met a an artist. Her name is Mati Dushinsky. She's fantastic. Should look her up. Probably put a link here. She's an amazing story. Born in Mea Sharim, self-taught artist, doing amazing stuff. And met her through a friend of mine, and basically I'm like, okay, so I see her stuff, it's good stuff, like how can I help you? And we're going back and forth. She's like, okay, I want to get to this radio guy, Haredi radio guy. I'm like, okay, friend of mine, whatever you would like, talk to me, let's get it. And she gets this gift ready for him. um, I go to pick it up, and the they invite me in, she and her family. I see that one of her walls is like totally covered in doodles, drawings, and stuff. I ask her like, "What's what's shot? Like, what is this? What's the point?" And she tells me, "This is my freestyle wall. Anybody can draw here." I'm like, "What about me?" And goes she goes out. She brings in a paintbrush and some paint, um, and I started painting. And that was literally the first time I held a paintbrush in my adult life. It was also less than a year ago. Um, while I was painting, I have a video of this. It's great. Um, while I'm painting, her whole family standing around there, and they're seeing different things. Like one of them seeing a house, one of them seeing a person, and um, it was really cool to understand that different people can see different things in the same painting. So after that, I started doing some research into abstract art. Took a course, an online course from the Museum of Modern Art. I painted my first canvas. I paint on canvas, and I actually have it here somewhere. And it's not a great painting, but it's like meaningful to me. There's like a lot of thought, a lot of like stuff inside there. Um, I posted it on my WhatsApp status. Now I've been online for a very long time. I deal with trolls. I deal with stuff. It's not new to me, the whole online culture. Um, I posted on my WhatsApp status. 2 minutes later, I get a message, Goal Nefesh, disgusting. And in the beginning, I was like, dude, but I'm like, who cares? I take that and I'm like, I take that message and I put it onto my LinkedIn. I posted the the picture, the painting that I painted, and I posted the message that I got. And I'm like, I'm willing to suck at something in order to get good at something. Most people aren't willing to go through the suck. I believe that that's why most people don't speak more languages. Most people are not willing to look stupid. I have no problem looking stupid if I'm actually getting better. Just looking stupid for the sake of looking stupid is just whatever. But um, the amount of support that I got from that post was ridiculous. People started posting their own art. People started like keep on going, whatever. Um, so I started getting better. That course that I spoke about, mixing more colors, and then I sold a piece, and then more people wanted it, and then more and more crazy connections. I got connected with an artist in Chicago. I'm doing a collaboration with. We're working on a series together. Um, a bunch of different good people in the world, and that's where we are now. We have
So
a lot
now
of.
you're a professional artist.
I don't know what professional means, but yes.
Um, what so what happened in you when you were painting on that wall by the Dushinskis? What was that experience like for you? Like, how'd you go from that experience to saying, I'm going to take a course after doing something on a doodle wall? What was happening in you during that time?
So first of all, it's therapeutic. Makes you feel great. Um, the but besides for that, creating is a great thing. Creating for everyone is a great thing, and it doesn't matter what you create. I was just talking to somebody about it. I'm like, there are chefs that are artists. There are there are business people that are artists. The way they structure a deal, the way they structure a business. Um, the goal is to do that on a level where people realize that that is bigger than it's bigger than you, it's bigger than whatever it is. And like it's it's cliche to say it, but that's a state of flow. When you get so good at something that it just flows, that's the goal. Now, if you can make money off of that also and actually live and be happy, isn't that like the goal of life?
Hard to disagree with that. It's going to be very hard for me to argue against flow.
I mean, listen, we're in other like Purim style. You can argue for the for and the against.
I won't.
Oh.
So I think I believe there's a lot of confusion about what flow really means and what it is. And I think that when people try to hack it, I don't, there are people who try to hack flow states. I don't think that that's the right approach to it. But I'm curious from your perspective, being in that living room, painting on that wall, experiencing what you experienced. You probably could have a very, I'm curious to see what words you use to describe what that felt like, what that is, and how to recognize it. And maybe, yeah, tell us more.
That's a good question. For me, it was the beginning was like, oh, this is interesting. And then it was like, wow, I like this. That's like the subconscious. The conscious mind was like hearing them in, like I said before, you see two different things. Two different people see the same thing, but they see different things. And that is literally a lot of life in my mind because a lot of what I do is meet people. Nobody sees the world the same way. Everybody has their own glasses, their own upbringings, their own from whichever countries they're from, etc. And they're not going to see the same thing the same way. A lot of what I do is I just help them see differently or help them focus or whatever it is if they want to. Um, but back to the flow when you get into um, and again maybe I'm just calling it a state of flow. I don't know. I think that it's a state of flow. It's when you're doing something that you love so much and then you just flow and then 2 hours later you're doing it and you're like snap out and you're like, wow, this is awesome. Then that's probably what you should be doing in life in general. That's probably what God intends you to do.
Yeah, I think that that was very well said. And when you were explaining it to me, and this might have a connection with the painting that's behind you, because as soon as I saw that, I was like, he's gonna put me in such a trance looking at that I don't even know if I'm able to do this interview. Because there's something going on there, and I want to talk about that painting a little bit later. But what occurred to me, and I think it has to do with that because of the shape is in explaining what a flow state is, there's this very interesting tradition, Jewish tradition about how the ark was placed inside the temple. So there was the holiest room in the temple was, I'm going to translate like, amos to meters, but let's say it was roughly 10 meters by 10 meters. And the ark sitting in the middle, which is like this kind of gold, I think gold plated box was 1 meter by
Solid
one
gold.
meter.
I
Yeah,
think it was solid gold, right? And then it
yeah,
was the a box within a box. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Was 1 meter by 1 meter. And if you would measure from wall to wall, you would get 10 meters. But if you would measure from wall to one edge of the box, and then from the other edge of the box to the next wall, you get exactly 5 meters. So the arc had dimensions, it had spatial dimensions, it was 1 meter by 1 meter, but it took up no space. And so, and the reason for this is because God is there's a lot coming together in my head right now. But the
I
reason
like
for
where you're going with
why
this, by the way.
I thought you would, I thought you would. The reason, even as I'm trying to figure out what I'm even thinking, I have a feeling you're gonna like it. Because now I'm probably getting into a bit of a flow state talking to you. Um, but the reason the reason for this being the focal point of the holiest place in the world, and this being the thing that's happening there, is because we have this faulty perception of God as an unlimited being, infinite. But infinite is just as limited as the finite. It's defined in that it is infinite. The true definition of godliness, or how does God express who he is? God express who he is when infinite and finite meet together in a symbiotic relationship. So
Interesting.
the expression of godliness always comes when two opposites meet. That's why it says God comes when there's peace. Like God blesses when there's peace. When a man and a woman are having peace with each other and they're getting along with each other, it says that the God's presence is
Interesting. Yeah.
between them, right? So
Astute.
right. So I think that a flow state is a very, very spiritual experience because what's happening literally in the brain is that the conscious and the unconscious parts of the brains, which typically operate separate from each other, are merging in the creation of an experience where um, a person's productivity shoots through the roof while their energy level shoots through the roof. When you said that a person, when they're experiencing that, it's a sign that that's what they should be doing. I mean, that's kind of why I got into because I started noticing that when I talk to people, I have more energy afterwards than before. And it's like I could go back to back to back for 4 hours straight, and I feel more energy afterwards than before.
Beautiful.
Um,
You want to hear something funny?
yeah.
When I paint, I don't necessarily have more energy. When I paint, I put all of that energy into the painting. And
Hmm.
like when I actually do it well, I'm like drained afterwards.
It's interesting. It's
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah, there is. I hear that. I've definitely heard that other people, when they experience a lot afterwards, they need to recharge because it's a lot of energy output. Um, the things
And
that
people
I've
feel
done.
that energy when I see one of the things I've focused on when in the past 2 months or so is I want people to feel now my art doesn't usually depict anything in particular. It's everybody can see what they see, and they usually see something about themselves. It's not about me. It's not about what I'm putting in it, whatever.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
and in the last couple of months, I'm very focused on how do I get that energy into the painting so that people can get that, and so people will be able to feel that a year afterwards or whenever, and looking
That's,
at that on the other side of the world.
whoa. That's tripping me out.
That's
The,
literally what the major artists, and again, people make a lot of fun of modern art, of different whatever. It takes a lot of skill to make pinkies and fancy women or whatever. But the point is not the half smile in my mind. It's when you walk into a museum and you look at this amazing piece of art and you feel something, and all of a sudden you're emotional. You don't know why, but that's your unconscious mind. But like that's what you're saying. Your unconscious mind is telling you something that your conscious can't really percept. Because you can't perceive. You don't get it, and
hmm.
then you look at it and you're feeling deeper
Yeah.
because that's what it's about.
Yeah. Getting back to before, it's interesting. I definitely heard a lot of people when they're in the actual flow state, they have energy, but afterwards they're totally depleted. The things that I have done that really kind of I feel like I'm really in flow. I usually experience bursts of energy afterwards, like
Nice.
incredible, like, it's like I'm a different person. It's part of what makes it really addictive, um, for me, is I don't even feel that, the down after. But okay, so tell us a little bit more about what that is like. What does that mean? How do you know? What's the process like inside of you when you're painting? When you work on a piece and you're like, no, that's not quite it yet. And then you're like, because if you're painting something that is not abstract, something that's you know what you're doing, if it's not it, I can understand how you say no, it's not quite it yet. But when you're trying to create something that when someone looks at it, they're going to see something within themselves, that somehow this painting is going to be a window into the person's soul for any person who's looking at it. How do you know when you've gotten it yet? Is it that when you look at it, you feel like you're seeing into yourself? Like
That's a
what
good
is the
question. It's not. It's really not because it's coming out of my soul. So it's not. First of all, I don't necessarily know when it's done. I've screwed up paintings because I go too far. And famous concept, Kolamoisef Berea, whatever you add on and you screw up the whole thing. Um,
mm,
but the first of all, other people see it and they're like, "Wow, I love it. That's fantastic." Um, that's one way. Another one is Interesting stories. I have one painting that my father says it'll be a museum piece one day. The reason being, it's just black and white with very very small dots of um, of the heavy metals. So copper, bronze, gold, silver dots, and I got a. So my father said you can look at that for hours.
Wow.
My I got a voice note from a European woman, 6.5 minute voice note. So what we call a podcast, um, and she was telling me how it gives her hope. So I asked her why, etc., and she's explaining that the dragon is being vanquished by the person with the light, and then the forces of light conquering the darkness, etc. And I'm like, wow, that's really really interesting. It goes to when people when people actually look, they can see, like for example, like you said, you look into here and you get calm. What I've been trying to do is just the feeling of when anybody just you see it and boom, you're already in that zone. And that's what I was trying to do. And whether it's happy, excited, sad, um, etc., just reflective, um, that's what I've been going for. And when do I know it's done? I pray.
I mean, so really, like the only way you know is when you see how other people react to it. And then, like, when you see their reaction, a few people, and it stops them, you're like, okay, it's probably done now. And if I add, I might take away.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, what is your experience like when you look at your own art? And how is it different than the experiences you see others having?
So it's interesting. It's a great question. Depends on which piece. There are some pieces that people like, which I'm like, okay, that's nice, but not my best work, and I'm fine with that. But people like it, so great. And then there's a piece that I hung in my office because literally every time I opened the door, it made me smile, and I loved it. Should have brought it here. It's called Colors Through Darkness. I actually made a video about it. The reason being, let me see if I can get it. Give me a second.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. Where am I going? Where's the camera? There we go. So the the story behind this one is basically that a I started painting. Now, I didn't go to school for it. I don't have a formal background. I don't like have a mentor that I can ask all my questions to. I don't know. I play around. I do stuff. I like it. I started painting. I put a bunch of colors down, vibrant, great colors. And then I started mixing it around. Now, when you mix around colors too much, they get muddy. it gets to be like this brownish or grayish or like or black or whatever. And then because you mix it too much, you're mixing everything together. And I got like pissed off. I was like, it's just, it's not working. Like, so I took a palette knife, one of these,
Hmm.
and I start scraping. And what happened was it revealed these colors underneath. Now the muddy is still here, if you see, but it started revealing these colors. And I'm like, cool. I got like, and I kept on scraping. I kept on this, and then I'm like, okay, let's do different, different styles, different things. I have like different implements that you could just like scrape and do that with. And the flow here is just is ridiculous, and it literally makes me smile because I also think that it's literally that has a lot to do with life because sometimes we do so much in our life, we mix so much that life becomes like muddy, becomes dark. And if we just scrape a little bit, like we have that vibrancy, those real, the true us. And it's not super difficult to do. Everybody has that inside them. I mean, look at me. I didn't know I could paint a year ago. Some people think I still can't paint, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, very often. I mean, I have to look more at more of your paintings, but the one behind you and another one of your paintings, the one that really caught me, and now this one, as you describe it, also, and I see it as well. I mean, I feel like that's a common theme of my experience looking at your art, is there are parts of it that seem incredibly heavy and dark, but then there's this light shining through it, and I the combination of those two things, they seem to put me in a trance looking at it because it's like what? Like godliness is here in this darkness?
So the question really is, so yeah, I get exactly what you're saying. The question is that the colors? Is that the painting or is that you?
So I had a feeling as I expressed this, I probably am revealing something about me. And I don't know, maybe it's a mix of both.
It's definitely the goal of the paintings and the colors is to get a person to think, to feel, to really like get involved.
I
But
mean,
what they
even
feel.
that woman's experience, the
Mm-hmm.
dots, she sees this overwhelming dragon, and there's something who's able to fight against it with the light. Like, it's not just my experience, it's obviously hers as well. And from what you described, it's even yours.
Yeah. Is that what I'm putting into the paintings? I don't know. Other people see different things. It's not the I very much like happy. I like happy colors. I paint with happy colors. I also paint with darker colors. I actually
Right.
had a video. It's a great thing because I'm walking around in a park, doing a little bit of walking, exercise, fresh air, etc. And I talk to myself. I'm like, I take pictures of nature. I'm walking in nature. Nature is great. Green is a calming color. Statistically, like this is like a it's a fact. Um, Green also has negative connotations. It's envy, disgust, etc. And I'm like, never painted with green because I was afraid of those negative connotations. didn't paint like with the darkness, the dark side, or dark whatever. And I'm saying this to myself. I'm making this video, and I posted it somewhere. I don't know, my status or something. And it's like, who's gonna stop me? I went home and I painted a green painting. Um, After we post this, I have to link it to it's in America, by a very happy person, Baruch Hashem, and it's a great painting. It's a great painting. Um, yeah, if I could share this, I couldn't. I can't share it, but yeah, I have to take my word for it. It's a great painting.
Can you, we'll put a link, send me a link to the picture of it. We'll put it in the
Okay.
description so people can see it. I want to see it. I mean, green is definitely, I think green is my favorite color. I really like green. It used to be blue when I was younger. At some point it changed to green.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But your favorite colors actually say a lot about you.
Oh yeah? What does it mean to have
Yeah.
green and blue as your favorite? Or blue and then green?
It's not that it's like, there's no, okay, this is what you are, this is how you are, but according to your personality, there's there's four basic personality types. In Judaism, it corresponds with fire, water, earth, and what am I missing? Eshmaim, Ruach, and Afar, and dust.
hmm
Did I miss some? I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know if I translated it
Wind,
well.
air, fire,
Wind,
water.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and each personality type prefers different color schemes. They prefer different types of people. The Aish, the fire people, there's a lot of drive, passion, externals. Um, Nowadays, there's connotations to materialistic, and you see like a guy who drives around with a Hummer and says it looks good on me, big Rolex. That's there's a very it's a significant type of person. That's the type. The people who are very passive, very quiet, very don't like confrontations. They don't like, they're very calm, and they love people and they love animals. They love nature. They love trees. Give them the quiet. May not necessarily introverts, but they have that definitely that side. They love those nature colors, more muted colors. They don't want to stand out. They don't care if everything is perfectly set. And most of the people who are into blue and green are a mix of that and fun type, the flighty, fun, party ish,
The air.
enjoying stuff. Exactly.
It's the air. Yeah.
And the air, funny side note, is that those people are literally never on time, and it's not their fault.
Wow. What, so you're almost a year into this. As you look to the year ahead, what do you see? What are you excited for in terms of your art? Like where do you feel like you're taking it?
That's a good question. Um,
Is it just this is it and it's just more the same, or there's like something significant that you're looking towards, or a change or a growth or next level?
Highest level possible. And I don't want to, the Jewish concept, "Eina bracha shayre ele davar samim min ayin," that the um, blessing resides in places where the eye doesn't see. I have a lot of things that I'm working on. Um, definitely, definitely looking to influence and be a big part of a lot of people's a lot of people's perceiving art in the future.
Have you had the experience, because it's very early, but have you had the experience yet of working with other artists, showing them what you do, and seeing if they kind of are able, like this? I mean, I can't even imagine doing what you're doing. I wouldn't even try. But, I think,
What happened if I wouldn't have tried?
yeah, no, I mean, I've picked up things and I think I have some ability to draw, but it's not abstract usually. It's more, I can put stuff on paper, but it's not in this way.
Okay.
But my question is that, you start to develop when you have that in Hebrew, there's a really good word for it. I don't know what it would be in English, but a chush, but it's almost like a sense, I guess a sense for when someone has this ability to, I guess, flow in a particular way. It's like if I'm seeing someone and I'm talking to them, I can tell if they can read people in the similar ways that I read people or I connect with people, or try to channel them or help them unlock. So it's like when you've met other artists now, have you worked with them? What's that experience been like for you? Because for me, when I got into what I was doing and I started meeting other people who do it, it was a very, very interesting experience to like start meeting these kinds of people who also have this kind of weird thing that I have.
Cool. Um, so it's a very, very interesting question. Um, and I've had both ends of the spectrum. I have this artist who has been doing art for 30 years. Um, I have a few actually of those who really, really like my art. One of them I'm doing a collaboration with, gives me honest feedback, tells me, okay, this is what it looks like, this is what is wrong. Um, don't do that because the art will crack or whatever, like whatever it is. Then I had a I went to um, a an art night. It's like a gallery opening, but it's like a citywide gallery opening, and Mati Dushinsky was presenting there. So I went to as a courtesy, and I because I truly appreciate that step in my process. And there's a bunch of different artists. Some of them were like, okay, what the hell is this? Um, pardon my French. And some of them was like really cool stuff. So, like really really cool stuff. And then one of them was like, I have 2 degrees in art. I have this. I have that. I'm like, great, and it's a beautiful piece. How many have you sold? I don't sell this that. Like, how much are you selling it? And it was funny. It was funny and sad because starving artist is a real thing. People think that they people don't necessarily know how to take um, the potential and bring that into the world. And here it's the art, and to bring it into the world of abundance. And I'm very very into abundance, and for abundance to be blessed upon you, you need to give something, and you need to give something of value. And I think that that's what you bring from that's what we're all channeling. That's what flow is. If you take it like you take a step back or 30,000 feet, you look at it. Flow is godliness coming through you. How do we bring godliness into the world? And Obviously, when we do that, it makes the world a better place. Now, if I can bring godliness into the world through my art, somebody else can benefit from that. They have to value it enough that it makes sense. Because starving artists aren't valuable. I mean, it's great that they're creating art, but people aren't seeing their art. They're not, lots of people get locked up at a very, very specific box, and they can't give over their flow, their stuff that they have, the gifts that they have in order to give to the world. They can't give that because they're
Yeah.
stuck in that box.
Yeah, you just answered that question in a way that I totally did not predict. I don't even know if you answered exactly what I was asking. I don't think you did, but I was like almost thinking this
What was the question
conversation
again?
doesn't matter. I was almost thinking this conversation is pretty much ready to wrap up. Well, I mean, it's almost anyways at the hour, but like my next point canceled actually, so we could continue this because what you just said now is something I'd love to dive deeper into. Like your answer was much better than the question. Um, that is something that I've wrestled with a lot. You know, when you do something and it's almost an art form and you know how good you are at it, sometimes there's like a stuckness there. And I've definitely experienced this before. There's like a block to that abundance because it's hard to bridge the gap between this deep, deep insight that you have and this external world where people seem to be needing things. They're not really looking for what you're selling. At least it seems a lot of the time until you actually step out of that box, actually just really go with an energy to be open and help people. And then you begin to see how much people need what you're selling, or they start to see it. But there is almost there's this other thing that needs to happen, and you're describing it in words that I haven't used before. So, and I'd really, really, really like to delve into that a bit more with you.
Let's go.
Um, so I guess let's just start really from maybe even just on the practical side. What is it like to sell art? It's one thing to create art. It's one thing to have a couple people walk in and see something or experience something. What has it been like to sell art?
So, first of all, it's phenomenal. There are people who get so in, like, they get so wrapped up with their art that they can't let it go. I'm the opposite, literally the opposite. I want people to experience this. That's the goal. That's the point. Um, the One of the artists that I'm working with, he told me that every person has a piece of God in his soul. Hasidic concept, chelik elikam imal. Um, when you're creating art, you're putting a piece of your soul into the art. Share that with the world. Now, I look at it as light. In a dark world, we're creating light. We're passing that light on. That's what we're doing. People see it. Some people want a piece of it. Lots of people want a piece of it. Some of them are willing to pay for it. And that's basically the flow. What was the question again?
What's it like to sell art?
Sell art is great. It's great when people trust you. I just put a post about it. When people trust you enough to create something for them, so commission something, and they're like, "Go get it done," then that's. I mean, there's nothing better than that. When people like they give you creative freedom, it's just phenomenal. And I had a friend doing big business. Um, he asked me to put words, specific words about God onto a the type of paintings that I do. So super abstract, super whatever, like colorful and all over. And he's sitting at his computer and he sees this on his far wall every single day. So he can be doing a deal for millions of dollars, but he wants to bring God into his life, into his deals. And that's literally the point of what I'm doing, bringing that godliness into the world.
Have you had to like, has it felt at all like an effort to get people to see this, to want it?
Sometimes,
Um,
for sure, like any other business, it doesn't sell itself. You need to show up at the right places. You need to talk to the right people, um, market yourself, talk to more people, and then you find the right people.
so you still talk to a lot of people.
100%.
My I've done a podcast with him. His name is Donald. Also on the topic of sales. But the advice that he's always given me more and more, every time I think I have a unique issue or a unique business question, a sales question, what to do, he just repeats it. At this point, it's like I hear it on repeat all the time in my head. More better conversations with more better people.
That's what it's about, literally. More better
Um,
people is a very very powerful. Just anyways,
yeah. The experience of talking to someone, I think sales in general is a pretty energy dense activity in terms of the emotions that you go through, the highs and the lows, and what you feel, the way in which you need to show up, the way in which you need to connect to the person in front of you and really try to get them to know, to sense, at least intuitively, how to approach them, how to appeal to their, the sense of who you get of who they are. When you sell something that's your art, it adds another layer to it, doesn't it?
that's a good question. What do you mean by layer?
So for me, I've sold things outside of what I do. But when I sold what I did, first of all, for me, it was a lot easier actually. It was easier for me to sell something that I really felt was something that I believed in because it was like me and I did it and I just like know that it was good. But I think the other thing about it is that when you get a yes or a no, it hits a little bit deeper, you know? Like the yeses are incredibly meaningful. It's like this person just bought in to pay their hard-earned money and invest time in a process where they're really trusting me to show up in this incredibly magical way. And that experience isn't like really, really, it's really deep. It's almost as deep, or if not more deep than the work itself.
I hear.
But what's it like for you?
Or we could look at it the other way. These people saw the they saw that godliness. Now, obviously, we can't give it away for free, just because that's not how the world works. Now, for me personally, I've never really been about selling. I offer people stuff. Okay, this is what it is. You're interested? Great. I never hard sell. I never pressure or whatever. Um, In with this specifically, with the art, no, and I've sold a bunch of stuff for my whole life. This specifically, I believe, I truly believe, anybody who buys anything from me in the next year is getting a discount because the value in 2, 3 years will be phenomenal. I told a friend of mine, interior designer, and I don't, not as a bragging way, just where my mind is way, as he's a good friend of mine. He took some of my paintings um, for a photo shoot that he did of one of the houses that he designed, which is awesome. And he's a great guy. And I told him, you need to order this for your people now. Get something. He's like, yeah, I'm waiting for the right client, whatever. I'm like, you wait around, your clients won't be able to afford it. Now, am I right or wrong for thinking that? I don't know. But that's where my brain is.
I think, yeah. I mean, you really believe in the value of what you're giving, which is very, very, you have to do that when you're selling. It's one of the things that I like about having to sell is that it forces me to believe in the value of what I do, because if I don't, I won't sell. Be wasting my
Exactly.
time. But my question is, what's the experience of selling it like for you? What does it feel like when someone actually pays for a painting?
Phenomenal. It's phenomenal. And I personally, I like, for me, it's money is just a tool and it's a number. But the people who actually buy it and the people who are like actually supporting me, and then, like I said, I just posted about it. I just posted that Elon Musk is not my ideal customer. And the reason is, and I don't know if you follow him or not or whatever, um, he made waves by saying that the person who said that money can't buy you happiness really knew what he's talking about. And now we both know that that comes from Jewish tradition, thousands of years ago. Um, the I don't want people who can't feel. He can have all the money in the world, $800 billion. He can buy all my art, and he can buy all my art for the next year and 3 years. But if it doesn't touch him, if it doesn't bring that godliness into his heart, then what am I doing? Is that what God put me here to do?
Very deep. It's true. It's true. The money is really just a tool. It's a symbol of something, but what's going on is a lot deeper. The trust, the impact, the relationship, you know,
Impact. Yeah, like you
yeah,
said.
yeah. I definitely can feel that. I mean, I think that um when I look back and I see, how I've been supported by my clients, it's not just the money. It's like realizing, wow, like it's very deep. The investment that people have, that you and them and you, it's a very, very, very deep connection. I'll end off on a story because I think that thing that you just showed, I think it really it's a story about abundance and how one thing can lead to another. And it's also a story of faith, and it's also a story about how, when a person has a craft and art, something that they feel like who is who they is, it's really not about the money. I mean, you have to support yourself, but so there was a young mechanic who got married in a town during the times of the fifth Rebbe of Chabad. So it's probably around 100 years ago or something like that, maybe a little bit more. Town somewhere probably in Russia. And around the time of his wedding, before or after he got laid off from his job. He's a young man trying to start a family, no work, nothing. Um, so followers of the Rebbe saw that and they said, why don't you go to the Rebbe? Why don't you go to this rabbi and ask him for some advice or for a blessing? And he says, I have no money to even travel to get there. And so they all got together and they paid for his ticket and they sent him. And he visits the Rebbe and the Rebbe says, I want you to go to some far off city. You should go to this city and open up a hat store and start selling hats. That's what the Rebbe told him. Mechanic. So he goes home not knowing what to think about it. His wife asks him, he tells her. He tells all these people that kind of, followers of the Rebbe and they paid for his ticket and they tell him like unequivocally that you just need to go. Like that's what the Rebbe said, just do it. And his wife was on board. Again, they had no money. So again, they pitched in, gave him some money, sent him on his way. Gets to this town and wants to open up a shop, but where people buy things in the center of town can't afford anything there. So he opens up some shop in the industrial area on the outskirts of the town. He's sitting there for 3 weeks without a single customer. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this rich guy pulls up, comes into the store, and wants every single hat in the store, every single one. So he loads up the hats, and guy's like, "How much does it cost?" Starts getting nervous when the guy's buying everything. So he's like, gives him like a really big discount. The guy's like, no, 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 no. What do they actually cost? He's like, that's what they cost, wholesale. He's like, no, I want to pay you retail. Gives him a very nice amount of money, but sees that the owner is still upset, like something is bothering him. He's like, what's bothering you? He said, what's bothering me is that I'm a mechanic. I don't sell hats. And the second you pay me this money, I'm going to be selling hats for the rest of my life. I don't want to sell hats. So the wealthy man says to him, look, um, I don't know what to think of this, but my brother has a factory, not close to here, but it's far away, but he has a factory and something broke down there. No one can fix it. Literally, no, and he's like been out for 2 weeks. Let me lend you some money for a ticket. I'll give you a letter from me to him. Tell him that I sent you and that he should give you a shot. See if you could fix it. Goes there, gets the factory up and running, and he's hired as their factory manager to make sure things run. That's the story.
Wow. Yeah. Well, there's a lot to unpack in that story.
A lot to unpack in that story, but we'll leave the listeners to unpack it for themselves. Chaim Simcha, I knew this was going to be good, but it was even better than I thought it was going to be. Um, Thank you so much for coming. Where can people find your art?
The website is art.chaimsimcha.com. Put a link. And I'm on LinkedIn a lot, on other socials, but I'm mainly on LinkedIn.
Okay. Yeah, check out his website and don't do it before you have something to do because you probably will be stuck looking at things for a while, as I was. But thank you so much again, Chaim Simcha. Thank you for coming, and I look forward to seeing what this year is going to bring for you and your art and everything that you're doing. So you have a
As
lot of
Rasha.
success. Yeah,
Amen. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
you're welcome. This was a pleasure.
Truly.